We're going to try this one more time. How you doing? Lawrence McKendall, Scooberlicious Ultimate. This is Spidercast number 4. At the San Jose Spider game. Spiders win against the Aviators 28-22. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, got a bad man in the house here. This guy is a baller, does battle with the earth nightly. Ethan Falat, how you doing?
What's up, my brother?
What's up? Talk to me. Talk to the people.
Oh, it's going good, yeah. I mean, we can't complain about a win. Shoot.
Solid win.
Yeah. They came out pretty hard. We knew that they came with a good record, so we were really focused. Windy day, so we knew we didn't have to bring it. They lost a lot of guys on their D-line to San Diego, but we knew that their O-line stayed the same pretty much. So we knew as a D-line we were going to have to pretty much bring it. They were putting up big numbers. We knew the wind was going to help us a little bit. They're shooters, so we just had to kind of get our marks right, play the individual D downfield, and it ended up working out.
What was interesting is they were trying to pull into a sort of a first place, a virtual first place with you guys. So they came out with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting. They were, capitalizing on some of the early drops because of the wind. Mm-hmm. So when you saw that level of energy, you were just sort of played your game methodically and went about it?
Yeah. We wanted to kind of play it all 4 quarters. Like Coach Tyler, he always talks about how we pride ourselves with how deep we are. So we know that either whether we kind of go out in a large lead or whether we keep it going back and forth a little bit, we know that as long as we're there, we'll pretty much kind of stretch the lead or kind of gather the lead back again in the 3rd and 4th quarter. We pride ourselves in our endurance and our deepness. So.
That's a great rationale because a lot of teams get very excited in the first quarter and sort of dissipates, but it definitely shows the great coaching by Coach Grant. But obviously, your mentality of the game, your endurance, it's a long game. You've got a deep line, and you just sort of went about your business and knocked it out. Now, tell me about that. You made that. Now, the Aviators scored in this point, but you made a sick bid layout. I mean, you went up and down.
Yeah, I was pretty close. We kind of had a little bit of mixed communications on the mark, unfortunately, but I was close, and I wish I would have got it. But I was right there. I figured I might as well go for it. That's what I'm on the D-line for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so it's interesting is that there's a lot of times where I've seen over the course of the year that big rallies start because you make a really nice D. So so the question I have for you is the game out there sort of like a matrix? Is it going slower for you and you're seeing how the play is going? Or what? What's happening here? Because you're making great plays.
Times it does, I mean, in all realness, you want the game to go slow all the time for you because that's when you know you're at your best.
Sure.
Things just happen without thinking too much. But with D a little bit, you gotta kind of just think about it a little bit more because I'm mentally preparing myself in the positions I want to be and everything like that. But yeah, when the disc goes up, you kind of just go for it and you don't really think. So that's when it kind of slows down a little bit. I feel like you're flying through the air slightly.
Well, it's nice because as you're bouncing off the earth, you hear the audience. But it's pretty. So do you feed off of that, or does it matter totally. Whether it's silence you're going to do it regardless?
Oh, I'm probably going to do it regardless, but I feed off the crowd a lot. I came from a basketball background, and I love feeding off the crowd.
So the best basketball players come to Ultimate come from basketball. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I say basketball and football really plays a big role in it because you have to have that hand-eye coordination for sure. But yeah, I feed off the crowd a lot. Usually, I always feed off the away crowds because they heckle you a little bit, and I just love that.
Nice.
But home crowd, they're rooting for you, so you can't complain about that at all.
No, home cooking's always nice.
Totally.
So. Right now, the Flamethrowers lost against the visiting Cascades, so that puts the Spiders alone in the Western Division at a record of 5-1. So
not many people would have thought that.
No, exactly. No. And so how's that? I mean, you're playing with sort of with the chip on your shoulder, knowing that you were coming, you wanted something to prove, and you continue day in and day out, week in week out, continue to prove and build.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, coming in, we're pre-ranked last in the division.
Pre-ranked last, I like that.
But we knew that we had a good team. We knew that we were going to have a better coaching scheme this year. We were going to put it all together. So for that to finally show, I think puts it all into fruition a little bit, where our hard work has paid off. I think only us and hopefully our fans were thinking otherwise. No one else counted us in there. So it's kind of showing the rest of the country that, hey, you know, there's two powerhouses in the Bay, and that's kind of prideful in ourselves too. Having two big Bay Area teams in there is really cool to see.
Exactly. No, I completely agree.
We're not just our own team. We're a community here in the Bay Area, so it's kind of cool.
And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, it is deep, like Ethan mentions, and this is pretty cool that that it's looking out this way. And I like the flamethrowers. I'm up in the flamethrowers world, but these guys are balling strong, and when hard work is paying off for them, it's really good. Now, we're like midway of the season, so you can't go in, you know, lackadaisical. You've got to, you know, approach every game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we decided to tank the rest of the season, we would be the exact same record we were last year. So we still got to keep winning all those games to keep it going, because we know that we got a couple of road trips after the next Vancouver trip next week. So that's going to be a test. I think our only road trip right now has been Vancouver and Seattle. So that's going to be the key. I mean, LA came in on the road. It's always hard to win on the road, so we know we got a few coming up for us.
Very interesting. So I know I'm going to be bringing in Justin Norden just a little bit, but I want to ask you, so you weren't part of the last road trip, but you're going to be making the next one?
Yeah, I'll be making the next one. So I should be trying to schedule all the other ones. I was at college regionals playing my last year, so I wanted our team made regionals for the first time in history. So
San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State. So I wanted to show the support with us.
Good for you. I understand that. Awesome. So what is going to be your approach going into the next road trip? Because now you have one home game.
Yeah.
Cascades, and then.
And then I think we go to LA and then San Diego.
Right.
That's always a hard one, because typically we'll play the second game in the daytime, and that's really hard with the heat going on you. And usually we'll play the first one. Prepare anything that's aching you or whatever. That's always painful.
That makes sense.
So traveling also too, jet lag is a big thing, even though it's only West Coast. But
so how do you prepare your body for that short turnaround to be ready for the next game?
Yeah. Coach Tyler does a really good job at, like, sometimes we'll do back-to-back practices. We'll do like sometimes if it wasn't Mother's Day tomorrow, I think that we would do like an early practice tomorrow. I think we're still trying to do some like pods and stuff like that, but usually after a game or after like a night practice, we'll do a morning practice to kind of mimic that.
That's great.
Which is kind of cool. So we know that we're pretty sore the next day, and we're still going to fight through it.
Yeah,
so Tyler does a really good job of preparing us for that. And then we just mentally prepare, you know, just icing, just massaging, everything like that.
Good tips to know. High level baller here. So anything else you want to add?
No, it's cool. It's cool to be in first place. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very congratulations.
Thank you.
Still mid-season, a lot of disc to play, but right now I know they're going to relish this win and come back in a week.
Totally.
And happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Want to say hi to your mom?
Yeah, of course. She's at the game. Happy Mother's Day.
Awesome. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So let me bring in Justin to say, hey man, thank you very much. Give me some love.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Ethan Falat, my guest. And let me see here, Mr. Norden. Come on in. Boys and girls, my next guest. This guy is for second time this year Player of the Week. The AUDL, this man is another bad man. One guy's a defensive specialist, this guy's an offensive specialist, just goes about his business, knocking it out. And I guess Justin Norden, come on in, man. I've never met you before, congratulations.
Yeah, nice to meet you, thank you.
Strong baller here. So tell me about how you feel about this game. You won, and by the way, you probably know, you're alone at the top of the Western Division.
I heard.
Yeah, so what was your approach to today's game?
I think today's game, the standouts were the defense. So I think they got 8 breaks in the first half, and it's hard to generate breaks on this big field, and they crushed it. I think on offense, we had a solid game. We scored goals, both kind of small ball as well as got some shots, but I think the defense was a real standout for the game.
No, very good. Well, so they came out with a lot of energy when I was talking with Ethan, that you could see that you were, it's almost like rope-a-dope. You play all 4 quarters, but they came out with a lot of energy, trying to get some momentum, and you sort of methodically went about your business. Mm-hmm. And so you were not fazed by what they saw. I mean, what was your take of the energy that you were coming with initially?
Yeah, they were coming out a lot. They were really physical, really body defense. But I think as the season has gone on, I think our offense has gotten a lot more confident. I think now, after getting a few wins under our belt, especially compared to last year, we have a pretty similar team. I think it's that confidence that lets us kind of run with anyone. And so even when we're getting bumped, we're physical, we can adjust to that. We can take around shots, move the disc. And so I think we're relatively unfazed.
So let me ask you about that before we jump to your road trip north. when you have, I mean, as teams and physicality goes, how do these guys rank?
So
if you can,
I think they're up there. I think the Southern California teams, I think so far from what I've seen, are definitely a little bit more physical. And physical is okay, but I think they're moving their bodies. We don't like to see the arms out there. I think arms in, that's okay. But well-spirited game, hard fought.
So you're unfazed by it? If they bring that brand of ball, I mean, you just play your thing, play your game, and
yeah, I mean, you have to adjust to it. Right. So
what do you mean by that?
So you have to, if someone's putting their arms on you out like that, you have to keep your spots, and you can get them off balance, right? If they're pushing on you one way, you can kind of swim around and get around there. So people will play different styles. Some people play more off. Obviously, you can't do that then, and so you gotta mix it up.
All right, good. Thank you. So look at this guy. So I got to push the button and go up on the elevator. So he's the taller guy. So let me see. I want to adjust the tripod. We just got top of your head. Anyway, so you go north.
Yep.
First big road trip.
Yep.
You knock it out of the park. So what I want to go over, besides what are you doing to amass these numbers, but Seattle, you have a tough contest, 27-26, 98% accuracy. You were a workhorse at 27 points. What's happening there? They're riding you hard. What's changed? Are they running the O through you, or are they just running the same O and you just pop in and out to be awesome when needed?
So I think we're running the same offense. I think Seattle was trying to, from talking to a couple of their players after, they saw the game against San Francisco. I was kind of more behind the disc, distributing it, and they were forcing me out. And so I kind of took those steps and went with it. And we have a ton of amazing throwers on the team, and so I was able to spread it out, kind of go more downfield, which was a lot of fun. So I think, and I'm only playing the offensive points, coming in sometimes on timeouts, and so when we get broken, sometimes as a handler, you do have an easier job. You're not quite running as hard, and so I'm able to come and play a few more points. But no, just playing the offense, running it as usual. And
that was a tough game. I mean, that was a critical game. It's not an easy team to play against, and at their place.
Definitely. I think scoring that last point, I would have been worried if we didn't come down with that last shot. Overtime, I know we were gassed. They were running us hard.
I was wondering about that.
I think we came out early. Okay, we got a few points, but then Seattle really dialed it back in. They started completing all their hucks, and I think we got a little complacent as the offense. We kind of gave up many breaks kind of as the game went on, and then all of a sudden it was neck and neck. So that game really could have gone either way, obviously, with the kind of last-second shot that Chuck threw. But
So those type of situations are nice for character building and team building because teams can freak out, wheels can fall off, and you were very solid. You were unfazed by the process. So it's interesting you say you don't know what would have happened because you were gassed in overtime, but you did what you have to do to win the game.
Yeah. We turned it over on that last point, and then Matthew Crawford had a fantastic D to get us back out there. So again, I think offense has gotten a lot more confident this season. The defense has really stepped it up. The defense is just continuously getting breaks, and so they're keeping us right in it.
Solid, yeah, very much so. And so let's step up. So you have a short time. You play Vancouver. You win 28-22. You log in same amount of points, 27 points. Your accuracy is right around 95%. So what are you doing between games to stay healthy and come back to play at a high level again?
It's not easy. I think that's the biggest thing from my playing this year is kind of staying healthy. I've had hamstring issues in the past, things like that before, and just making sure, kind of adjusting training a little bit, making sure that you're icing afterwards and stretching and making sure you can play the next day. So that second game on road trips is really hard, and it was rainy out in Vancouver, but I think we really had the throwers, and so in the wind, in the rain, we were able to kind of just push through that. And so again, the defense got a ton of breaks. We had a little more of a cushion throughout the whole game, and so it was nice. I think flipping it, playing the other way against that tight game, it's hard that second day.
So let me ask you here, from sort of a layperson to a pro, you've got a 7-second count. Mm-hmm. Your accuracy is nuts. People are obviously probably they know what you can do, and you find double teams a lot in what you do.
Yeah, there's definitely a few teams early on. San Francisco a couple times tonight. getting in double teams. I think it helps to be taller. You get a little more range on your throws. Especially working on kind of the over-the-top hammer throws is really important to kind of move the disc around, have an easier time with that. But then, yeah, 7 seconds. 7 seconds is a fair amount of time. You don't need that long to actually throw it. So there's long enough, especially as people are cutting. You can have 3, 4, 5 looks before you have to give it up.
Well, you have quick throws. You seem unfazed by the 7 seconds. So they're quick, but it's interesting is you're reading the game quicker. Your throws are rarely like iffy. They're solid. They're sweet. They're great. They're like, you know, people can easily catch it. So how do you get to this point of being able to read and make those throws under those circumstances? You know, the $24,000 question.
So the big one I would say is time and experience. So I have definite shout out to my brother, Jeremy Norden. He taught me how to play. He taught me how to throw. I personally think he's a better thrower than I am.
Nice.
But practice and reps. And so kind of now it's been 10, 11, about maybe 12 years since playing. And so I started in 8th grade. And that helps. Kind of you see patterns and just like those reps, you can make that decision quicker.
No, so you seem very unfazed, very inflappable, and it's nice. So the reference I like to say is like, I'm going to use a Top Gun reference. You get tone, and if you watch when they're lining up missile and you get tone and they launch the missile. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling, I'm talking out loud. Bear with me here. But it's interesting to see how methodical you are, and you're watching, say, Mr. Stearns go deep, and you're lining up and you see, and you just crank it. You can just see you sort of watch the hairs line up, and off you go. And so when you see your target, are you throwing it to Jackson because you know he's going to go there, or are you reading something beyond just knowing thy receiver?
So yeah, so it helps actually. So after we played together for a few years now, you kind of know when he's making that cut, where you want to go, and you put that disc out to space. Also, kind of as the season has gone on, people looking for me to throw it, they're making those cuts a little bit more often. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If people are cutting deep, as you get the disc on an up-line cut, when you get it open, it makes it a little bit easier. So it's really on the cutters to make that space. As a thrower, you're just trying to get it to them when they're already open.
No, you come up very comfortable. You're making nice throws, and I got to be careful using old people references when the guys are like, I don't even know what movie.
Top Gun's one of my favorite.
Oh, thank
movies,
you.
So
he's bailing out. He's a nice guy. He probably never seen the movie. I'm playing it. It's all good. So anyway, so you're putting up these great numbers. So, what the heck? So we're going to wrap this up by going. You're putting up amazing numbers. You're leading the AUDL Player of the Week twice. Just nothing. Just doing your business.
Just trying to take care of business, and as a handler job, you're just moving it and hitting it to open hands. Yep. So it's really the teammates that make it easy. You can't make someone be open as a thrower. They're getting open on themselves. You're just trying to get them the disc. So I think that's really the focus, is just keep moving it and try to get it back when you can and get open for them. But I think it's really just moving it around and getting lucky that a lot of assists have kind of come
Sure, no, a little bit, but preparation and luck have something to do with it. But you have to get open too.
Sure.
That's the thing too. So it's not that you're just in there throwing me the disc on poach. I mean, you're making moves to get open, and it's nice when you make a move and you're rewarded with a throw.
Definitely,
that's sweet too.
Definitely.
So you can come up and be more lethal. So I'm rambling here because this guy's stellar. Two times already with the AUDL Player of the Week, Justin Norden. We're going to come back. I'm going to, hopefully, down the road, I get a chance to talk with him. You got to see the recast of this game and all the other games, because this is an outstanding player. And hopefully, he's up for the MVP consideration. Hope he makes it. My guest, Justin Norden, Lawrence McKendall. We'll see you down the road with Spidercast number 5. Take care. We're leaving here from the Spider Stadium here, with the Spiders beating the Aviators and alone at the top at 5-1. They're beating the Aviators 28-22. We'll see you down the road. Take care.